Post-election rallies continue, with a couple more happening today, 4 days after the election. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of KGW News. I'm Devin Haskins, in for John Adams this evening. KGW's Celine Stevens spoke with demonstrators today, trying to spread their messages, as well as the police, to learn more about how they try to work with organizers of a rally.
We want liberation for all, we want justice for all, we want equal rights for all, and that is what we stand for.
Demonstrators rallied together and marched Saturday afternoon in the wake of the election. Some gathered to express their support of Palestine, calling for government to divest from Israel.
We've seen this before, right? The blockage of food, the decimation of an entire people, the blocking of medical care and the spread of disease, and to see the lack of humanity that is still present in this world today, knowing what we know historically, sickens me.
The U.S. has argued Israel has the right to defend itself. However, the United Nations has previously stated Israel has violated international law. Some speakers emphasized their point that an attack on one is an attack on all, and problems overseas translate to issues here as well.
We tend to believe that atrocities that are committed halfway around the world are alien, that we're not impacted. And what we're seeing now is that we are impacted. It's the same hate, that is causing restrictions on rights and freedoms here.
Others also advocated for workers and against what Donald Trump's administration might mean for the U.S.
We're also fighting to end the idea and push back against the idea that there should be mass deportation, that there should be abortion bans nationally, and then the idea that basically that workers deserve less.
Some demonstrators who spoke said no matter who won the election, they would have still came out to rally due to the U.S. funding Israel under the Biden-Harris administration, plus other pressing issues that left some voters dissatisfied with both parties.
We believe that basically under the previous administration, food insecurity doubled, child poverty increased. Working people were clearly unhappy with this election and didn't want either of these candidates, in my opinion.
Who is creating endless war, and who is keeping the minimum wage at $7.50 an hour nationally. It's not immigrants, it's not trans people, it's not the most vulnerable people in society, it's the oligarchs who are literally stealing from the rest of us.
Both the demonstrations were peaceful, although police presence was still evident.
We have a right to gather and to protest and to state our opinions in a public forum. So we are going to continue to exercise that right and do that.
The Portland Police Bureau has event liaison officers who say they speak with organizers ahead of the event to learn about their goals and see how they can help the demonstration remain peaceful.
We're actually here to support the demonstrations. It may not be, we're not supporting the message itself, we're supporting your right to free speech, to protest, to address the government.
I'm personally not here to throw bricks through windows or to, to cause any destruction or to cause anybody any harm. In fact, I'm here because I want to stop people from getting hurt.
In Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Now to the latest election results for the city of Portland. Following a special update from Multnomah County, the Oregonian now projects 10 winners in the city council races. 2, though, are still too close to call. In Oregon and Southwest Washington, the Oregonian reported Democrats are projected to win both of the closely watched toss-up congressional races. Friday, Janelle Bynum was projected to win Oregon's 5th district, defeating Republican incumbent Lori Chavez DeRemer. Bynum is set to become the first black member of the state's congressional delegation and is pledging to represent all constituents, no matter their party affiliation.
When they have enough money and they're not choosing between their medical bills and food, it's the economy. And so when we're talking about lowering prices and we're talking about making sure that we have competitive markets, those are the priorities that I have for Oregonians.
We reached out to Congresswoman Chavez DeRemer for comment after the Oregonian projected she would lose her seat. So far, we haven't heard back. The Multnomah County Elections Office said earlier today it expects to process another 4,000 ballots in the coming week. Officials say there are also nearly 12,000 ballots whose signatures have been challenged. The Elections Office said those voters have been notified and have until November 26th to cure their ballot. The final election results will be certified December 2nd. We also reached out to neighboring counties up in Clark County, Washington. They said there are about 3,500 ballots with either no signature or a signature without a match. And you can find a full list of election results up now on our website. It's KGW.com. We're still watching for calls in 2 out of the 12 Portland City Council seats, along with position 4 on the Clackamas County Commission. We'll keep you updated as the final ballots are counted. So far, the start of the weekend has been dry and cool. Gotta say, I'm happy I'm in my yard today because looks like heavy rains in the forecast for tomorrow, right, Joe? Meteorologist Joe Ranieri here with more on when that rain moves in.
Exactly right. Now, Devin, if you didn't do it today, you have a good portion of tomorrow, but do it for the first half, because once we get into the later part of the afternoon, we're going to be seeing some downpours, heavy downpours, I should say. So this is kind of a little taste of what we're going to be seeing here over the next couple of days. And yeah, it is going to be a wet next few days, starting basically tomorrow afternoon and into a good portion of next week. Going to be picking up some light showers here throughout parts of your Saturday night and into tomorrow morning. But I think for the most part, a good portion of Sunday is going to be staying dry, and that's the case throughout the coast, the valley, and into the mountains. Right now from our Wells Fargo tower camera, we're looking at a temperature of 51 degrees. So I want to bring in the futurecast. Here we are about 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, seeing a little bit of some clearing along the northern part of the Oregon coast. But as we go throughout the later part of the day into the afternoon, we're staying dry. That rain will be moving in right around 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And once it does, we will be seeing some periods of heavy downpours basically late tomorrow night and into early Monday morning. Some models are suggesting we can be seeing close to a half of an inch between tomorrow night and Monday morning. And if you'll be traveling over the mountain passes, you will be seeing some heavy snow at times. And looking into Monday, yeah, it is going to be an absolute mess with more downpours and the threat of thunderstorms. I'll break it all down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Wow. We have new, thanks, Joe. We have new video and details this evening in the death of the Portland nurse that was killed while vacationing in Hungary. This is video of Hungarian police arresting the 37-year-old suspect in the death of Kenzie Michalski. Police say the two met at a nightclub, then went to his apartment where they say he killed her. Police say he then tried to cover up the murder inside his own apartment and then hid her body in a wooded area more than 2 hours away. After Michalski was reported missing, police used security video to track him down, where he confessed to the murder and then showed police where he had hid her body. Michalski was a nurse at Providence St. Vincent's Hospital in Southwest Portland. And an update to a deadly shooting in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Portland police said a man is now booked on manslaughter charges. At around 2 this morning, officers were called to an apartment near Northeast 146th and East Burnside. There, they found a woman dead and a man hurt. While that man, 33-year-old Michael English, was being treated, he left the hospital. He was found and arrested just before 11 o'clock this morning. The shooting is still under investigation. In southwest of Portland and Polk County, police are investigating a deadly shooting. Dallas police were called around 9:30 this morning to the area of Southeast Monmouth Cutoff Road in Godsey. There, they found a person who was later pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect, who police believe was known to the suspect, was found and arrested without incident. And back in Portland, police are investigating a stabbing incident that took place this morning. It happened around 8:30 near the intersection of Northeast 20th Avenue and Everett. Officers arrived at the scene to find a person with serious injuries. No arrests have been made, but police believe the victim and the suspect knew each other. And Portland detectives are investigating an unusual string of thefts involving what appears to be a pair of criminals disguised as a repair crew. Their target? Bitcoin machines. Catherine Cook shows us how authorities say they've managed to steal at least 3 of them.
Wednesday afternoon at the St. John's Deli and Grocery.
It was pretty slammed. We had like 5 people, in line.
Ashwin Chaitri was working the registers when he noticed this work crew tending to a Bitcoin machine.
I thought it was unusual, but I was just like, maybe, it's been like acting up.
Ashwin's dad owns the store, so he figured he'd set up the call. He says the work crew even phoned ahead to say they were running late. The pair unbolted the machine, put it on a hand truck, and even vacuumed. They also handed Ashwin this invoice for their work. All of it, turns out, part of an elaborate scheme.
And I was like, okay, seemed legit. But then the next morning, I come to find out that they actually came to steal the machine from us.
Ashwin says there was about $400 inside. Customers use the machine to buy Bitcoin or send money. The store doesn't own it, but they rent the space to the company that does, Dynamic Exchange Network.
We called the company and we were like, hey, what's going on? Why is the device not here? And they're like, what are you talking about? We never sent anybody out.
Security video shows the crooks loading the Bitcoin machine into a silver Dodge Ram. The license plate number starts with 050.
The company that owns those Bitcoin machines says last month, crooks hit this Jubit's truck stop on North Vancouver Way. Same MO.
Security images show what appears to be the same suspects, a man and a woman, same hair, uniforms, and even shoes. You can see the bolts left behind after the crooks got away with this one. A rep with Dynamic Exchange Network tells us they look like the same people who stole a third Bitcoin machine, this one from a service station in Albany. They left this phony invoice with store employees there.
Because I don't want to see this repeating.
Ashwin wants everyone to know about these guys, what they look like, what they're doing, and why they need to stop.
How low can you go to steal from a business that's trying to survive in the world, you know?
In North Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
New information tonight on an apartment fire in Tigard that displaced 9 people on Thursday. An investigator from Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue has determined that a battery pack from an electric motorcycle caught fire, which spread to nearby units. No one was inside the building at the time, but 2 units were heavily damaged. A firefighter was injured, but has since been released from the hospital. And in Vancouver, an impaired driver crashed into a home, and police say it's the second time this week that this has happened. In this case, the truck driver damaged several cars before hitting the house. Fortunately, no one was hurt. And in Lynn County, teachers and staff with Greater Albany Public Schools held a large rally outside of the district building earlier today. It's as their union continues to prepare for a potential strike starting next week. Despite numerous mediation sessions, the union says they want to see more from the district in terms of pay, school safety, and student resources. Their deadline before they go on strike, November 12th. Greater Albany Public Schools says they've been actively negotiating in good faith to support teachers and honor community resources, and they're working hard with the union to find a resolution to keep schools open.
They canceled school Tuesday already. We have mediation today. We have mediation on Monday. Why can't we reach an agreement?
The teachers we heard from today said the last thing they want to do is go on strike, and said if they do, they say I hope it doesn't last long. And coming up, the 2024 elections wrapping up, and the nation's next president has been decided. Our National Verify team looks into what that means for candidates looking ahead to 2028. Plus, a sad day for Blazers fans. Hear from those who work closely with play-by-play radio announcer Brian Wheeler on the legacy he'll leave behind. Back to this special edition of KGW News. Let's take a look at your national headlines. Attorneys for the man charged in the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students asked a judge to take the death penalty off the table Thursday. Brian Koberger's legal team said international, federal, and state law all make it inappropriate for the case. They pointed to an unsuccessful execution by lethal injection earlier this year as proof. The parents of one of the victims hopes the judge rules in favor of the state. And a dangerous record-breaking storm is pounding parts of the West with blizzard-like conditions. And we're only a week into November. In Colorado, that storm caused problems for drivers. Many were rescued after several feet of snow snarled Friday traffic for hours. More than 500 flights today have been canceled or delayed. And in New Mexico, unsafe weather conditions forcing highways to shut down and schools to close. Some areas seeing a year's worth of snow. And President-elect Trump has accepted President Biden's invitation to meet at the Oval Office next week. The visit, a symbolic step in the transition of power from one president to the next. Trump and Biden spoke by phone on Wednesday, the president-elect describing the call to NBC as very respectful both ways. Meanwhile, Trump is out working out of his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida, focused on building his new administration. President-elect already choosing his campaign manager, Susie Wiles, as his new White House chief of staff, the first woman to ever serve in that role. And while Trump considers his cabinet picks, our viewers have messaged our National Verify team already looking towards the 2028 election. Casey Decker looks into whether Donald Trump would be eligible for re-election.
Donald Trump is heading back to the White House. His victory over Kamala Harris means he will be president for the next 4 years. Verify viewers emailed us to ask, once those 4 years are up, will he be eligible for re-election in 2028? So, using these sources, let's verify. The answer is no. Trump will not be eligible to run again in 2028. This is the final term he will be allowed to serve as president. The 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution establishes term limits for presidents. It says, quote, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Trump was elected president once already in 2016 and now for the second time in 2024, making him ineligible to be elected a third time. Only one president has ever served 2 terms that weren't back-to-back, Grover Cleveland. He was first elected in 1884, lost in 1888, but ran and won again in 1892. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
And sad news for Rip City. Brian Wheeler, the man who spent decades as the radio voice for the Portland Trail Blazers, has died.
He was proud to be a Blazer announcer, and he wasn't going to, those were his guys.
Known to fans as Wheels, he took over as the Blazers radio play-by-play announcer in 1998, filling the big shoes of Bill Schonely. Wheeler called plenty of memorable games throughout his 21-year career. He was on the mic through the Jail Blazers era, the Brandon Roy years, as well as the rise of Dame Time. He stepped away in 2019 for health reasons. We talked to multiple people close to him who said they expect Wheeler to have a lasting legacy.
You know, kind of a new wave. It used to be, you know, many years ago that the announcers played it more down the middle.
Wheels was maybe in his 3rd or 4th season with the team, and I'm walking my dog by a playground, and there are kids that are maybe 10, 11 years old. They're playing basketball, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I hear the kids go, boom, shakalaka. I went, okay, right there. Wheels has these kids.
Brian Wheeler was 62 years old. Yeah, boom shakalaka.
Yeah, how can you? Yeah, I definitely remember that. He had some great calls.
He had one, and I'm not going to quote it right, but it was like, if my eyes don't deceive, then you must believe. I think it was. Man, he was good on the mic.
Yeah, he was. We've had some legends who've called Blazer games over the years, and yeah, as we kind of look at the forecast for the rest of your weekend, Devin, it's going to be a relatively quiet end to your Saturday night, and kind of a pretty quiet start. But here's a look at we can expect to see heading into the overnight hours. Mostly cloudy and mainly dry. Overnight lows will be in the low 40s to the upper 40s, so not heavy blanket weather, but you know, just give it a few weeks. We'll definitely get there. On the satellite radar, we're starting to see some dry conditions for the time being in downtown Portland. If you see anything fall, it's going to be light precipitation tonight and into tomorrow. We have this low that's going to be moving on shore, and some of the rainfall amounts will be pretty intense. This is the system that's going to be moving through really starting late tomorrow afternoon in the evening and carries over into a good portion portion of Monday, and I shouldn't say just a good portion of Monday, a good portion of next week. From our Wells Fargo tower camera, a temperature of 51 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and the winds are pretty light, freezing level at over 12,000 feet. A mainly dry start tomorrow, and then again, heavy showers arrive, I'd say the later part of the evening, but if you're out and about by 4 or 5 o'clock, yeah, you are going to be seeing some wet conditions moving through. And the snow levels will start to drop later next week. And I think give it another week or two, and we're going to be seeing a good portion of the Oregon Cascades ready for winter. Hopefully that forecast does hold true. As we look at the future cast, there is snow in the forecast up in the mountains. I'll show you that in a second, but here we are at 8:22 tomorrow morning. We're all dry through the coast, the valley, all over the Pacific Northwest. But again, once this front starts knocking on our door, it is going to be absolutely wet from late tomorrow afternoon, really early part of the evening, all the way into late tomorrow night. Yellows and oranges move in early Monday morning, and there could be some thunderstorms that roll through. You see those yellows and some oranges out there. Those are not only heavy downpours, there could be some hail mixed in, as well as some lightning strikes. Meanwhile, over in the Oregon Cascades, there's no watches and warnings throughout the northern part of the mountains, but the more south you go, we're talking the Siskiyous, there will be some heavy snow heading into the next couple of days. Rain chances over the next few days. It is going to be absolutely wet, basically Sunday night into Monday. That looks to be the wettest stretch we'll be seeing over the next few days, and regardless, it is going to be a wet 5-6 days ahead, so just prepare for that. The watches and warnings are really throughout southern Oregon. This is that winter weather advisory that's going to be in place basically 5,000 feet and higher if you're going to be traveling over the southern Oregon Cascades, and then that orange color is a wind advisory. Meanwhile, that yellow you see is a air stagnation advisory that will be in effect. So right now we're looking at temperatures in the upper 40s throughout much of the metro area after seeing daytime highs in the mid to the upper 50s, which is basically where we should be for this time of year. The air mass track, we just get ready for some cold air moving through. Nothing that's not, you know, we don't expect to see through this time of the year, but the forecast highs for tomorrow, we're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid to the upper 50s. Again, a dry start to your Sunday morning, and we stay mainly dry into the late morning, early part of the afternoon, a little bit of some light showers. Those heavy showers will be moving into the picture by the later part of the afternoon. Right around 3-4 o'clock, we could be seeing some of those very heavy downpours move through. Come Monday for Veterans Day, Devin, we're going to be seeing a mix of some sunshine, some showers, maybe some thunderstorms, and those showers carry us over into a good portion of next week.
All right, thanks, Joe. Union Gospel Mission held its winter clothing drive at the Chick-fil-A parking lot in Tanasbourne earlier today. It was in collaboration with 99.5 The Wolf. Spokesperson tells us these donations not only go to the homeless people, but to families struggling financially. This was their second and final event for the year. The group says they received 3 bags full of items in the first 30 minutes.
We really want to make sure that people stay safe and warm throughout the winter. It really can be life-threatening and dangerous.
They're always looking for more donations. You can drop those off at their store locations. Items include new or gently used coats, winter clothes, gloves, socks, and blankets. And it's the first week of the KGW Great Toy Drive. You can help us support thousands of kids this holiday season. We want to make it easy for you to give. If you make a cash donation online, we'll do the shopping for you. Just go to kgw.com/toy and click Donate Cash. And if you want to help collect toys, it's the last week to sign up. Just click Join Us at kgw.com/toy. We want to thank Ziply Fiber, Fred Meyer, IQ Credit Union, and local Toyota dealers for everything they're doing to make this year's toy drive a success. And the #1 ranked Oregon Ducks trying to defend their ranking at home today. We have a preview of tonight's highlights right after this.
Your one-stop shop for all
#1 Oregon trying to keep things rolling. Maryland in town to take on the Ducks. Former basketball star Sabrina Ionescu at Autzen with the WNBA championship trophy. Ducks a little up and down in this one. Dylan Gabriel became the NCAA touchdown leader with this touchdown pass to offensive tackle Janoris Wilson. He added another to reach 180 touchdowns for his career so far. Ducks went up 29-10 in the third quarter, went on to win 39-18. Rolando will be here at 11 with complete highlights and reaction from the Ducks. And Oregon State at home trying to get back on track. Jade Carey at Reser with her Olympic medals to cheer on her team. Beavers off to a solid start. Anthony Hankerson with the touchdown run, the game tied at 10 at the half. Turnovers ruined the day for the Beavers, though. A pick six by San Jose State put the Spartans up in the fourth quarter. Ben Gulbranson threw a second interception late in the game. Beavers fall 24-13. It's the fourth straight loss for Oregon State. They play Air Force next. Well, that's going to do it for us. We'll be
Continue with us and watch free right now on the KGW Plus app, everywhere you stream.
On KGW Good Energy.